Hey, it's Nick Fundytus here from Royal LePage Performance Realty in Ottawa, Ontario. And this is Nick Answers Reddit. So each week I answer a question from Reddit from a home buyer or home seller. Usually these are in the Real Estate Canada subreddits or Ottawa subreddits, something where I have a little bit of knowledge in those areas. So today is from Ontario buyer, or sorry, an Ontario seller who says, do I need to sign an OREA form 300 to sell my house? What we see in the notes that he actually means an OREA form 200, which is a listing agreement. So it says, hi, we are just selling our detached home in Mississauga. A realtor is making us sign an OREA form 200, and it will be for 3.5 months with until December 31st. So is this a standard time frame, and is it necessary? Also, he put a holdover period of 90 days. So meaning that 90 days after the contract expires, if one of his buyers comes and says they want the house, it's his client. So and he appreciates the insight. So my thoughts on this, I've written this down on the platform as well, but here are my thoughts. So in short, the answer is yes. If you are selling a home in Ontario, if you are selling it with a realtor or a real estate brokerage, you're going to use Form 200 or some variation that gives written documentation that the brokerage is representing your interests in the listing and sale of your home. It may be technically possible to have some sort of implied realtor representation where there's not paperwork. However, I mean, no reputable brokerage is going to do this, both in terms of making sure that they get paid in the end and just making sure that it is clearly written out on both sides what everybody's obligations to each other are, both in terms of marketing and preparation and commissions and who pays for what and whatnot, and the time period and all of that stuff. So in short, yes, you're also going to have another form called a working with a realtor form, which is Form 810, I believe. And then there is the information form, so Schedule A to the listing agreement, which is Form 960, used to be called 160A. If you would like to see any of those forms and have them explained in detail, you can go to other playlists on our YouTube channel, Real Estate Forms Explained in Ontario, and I walk through each of the major forms that are typically used in the sale of a home, including all those three mentioned there. So a few other notes. So is it 3.5 months would be a relatively short listing here in Ontario, or sorry, in Ottawa. I know that with our brokerage, it may be different in every market, but in our brokerage, or I should say in our team, we list homes for 6 months less a day. So what we're looking for is we want some sort of commitment from the sellers as well, that they believe in our marketing plan. Sometimes it's going to take longer to sell a home than others, and we spend quite a bit of money. It usually costs us about $2,000 to $3,000 to launch a home on the MLS with photos and ongoing marketing and things like that. So we want the trust and commitment of our clients back to us, that they, trust and plan to get the job done. So we say 6 months, 3.5 months. I mean, it's kind of medium. It's certainly, like, legally you can have it any length of time, I believe. Your local MLS may require it to be on a certain amount of time, but in terms of Ontario, I mean, the actual Form 200 could be as short as a day, and it could be for years. The purpose of a holdover clause. So you mentioned that your your realtor is asking to have you sign a holdover clause. That is not quite as you've described. So it seems like there's some misunderstanding there. It's not that any buyers are the realtor's client after the expiration or cancellation of the listing. What it actually means is that the listing agent, so technically their brokerage, is entitled to compensation, so commission, if a buyer who was introduced to the listing during the original listing period, so not after the cancellation, but introduced during the original listing period, so this would be like via the MLS or some of his marketing, makes an accepted offer within 90 days at the end of the original listing. There are exceptions to this. I mean, if you've signed with a new realtor at that point, there's phrasing in the new listing agreement that sort of changes how the commission would work. If you sign on with a new realtor at a lower commission and somebody from the first listing comes and buys it, you may have to pay the difference in commission, or no commission, depending on how it's worded. However, it doesn't automatically mean that anyone who offers in your house on the next 90 days is automatically that realtor's client. There's no fixed amount of time for the holdover clause, but we list ours for, with the same number for 90 days. And we explain to our seller clients what it means and how it affects them. Make sure that you're listing agent is really able to explain that well to you. And of course, ask your lawyer too if you have questions, because they've got no skin in the game as to whether you sell or not. Good luck on the listing. Shoot me a message if you have any other questions, and I love having questions. So if you have any others, send them this way, and keep posting on Reddit. And I'm a realtor in Ottawa. That's why I know that.